edition of the GPS podcast, Grow Your Passion into Success, where
we help you get on the road to success.
Something like that. It's close enough. We'll try.
I messed it up on purpose this time.
Oh, you messed it up on purpose this time?
I did, but then I just forgot it just that quick.
Oh, did you?
What is it? Tell me.
Don't worry about it, y'all. If anybody is interested,
well, we give you the roadmap to success.
We're looking for a new co-host out here.
We give you the roadmap to success.
Yeah, close enough. So anyway, as you can see, we got some dope guests in the house with us today. I'm really excited about today's episode because I'm about to relive my childhood a little bit. Like, I'm about to live vicariously through our guest today. So I'm super excited today. So I am going to go ahead, let them introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about themselves. So y'all, spotlight. What's going on, young lovebirds? Tell us about yourselves.
I'm Deontay, and this is my fiance, Kenyatta.
I'm Kenyatta.
Very soon to be wife, so.
Ooh, so by the time this episode comes out, it's not going to be like the fiance thing no more. It'll be married. It'll be official. Where y'all get married at?
Jamaica.
One day island man.
Yeah, that's. I like that. We told you we alright. What made y'all choose Jamaica?
Well, I would say Jamaica was probably something I've always wanted to do. I wanted to do something destination related, so we just kind of agreed on that Jamaica would probably be the best spot considering she hasn't never been. So,
I think we talked about it like when we first got together, and I was like one of the places. Like Jamaica, that was it. No other discussion.
It's a beautiful area, and then the vibes, the island vibes, you can't mess that up.
You can't mess with these, but I think I'm going to use my accent the whole episode.
Please don't, though. Before we even get ratings, we'll have no ratings. You know what I'm saying?
The accent, man.
Anyway, y'all, so this is super dope to me because, like, when I was y'all age, none of my friends was getting married. And number two, none of my friends was getting married no destination weddings. I wonder if it's the first time we've been to a destination wedding.
Yes, it is.
So we've been married 16 years, and we've never been to a destination wedding because none of my friends get married. Or they got married younger, and they had no money. So it's kind of dope. What's y'all expectations, man? Like, where y'all doing the honeymoon at? Or is it going to be Jamaica still?
Yeah, we're going to do both.
Okay, all right.
2-in-1 deal.
All right. When y'all get back from the wedding, what's life going to look like? Like, what in your mind, what's a typical day going to look like?
I really don't think nothing is going to change. Like, other than, I really don't feel like it's going to change when we come back.
I don't feel like anything's going to change in a negative sense at all. I think it's just going to be more love in the air, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Oh,
sure.
love in the air. Oh. What's that line again? Can you feel the love?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
I would say, because a lot of people I know friends and stuff who got married, who were living together or things of that nature, so it's their first time. That's not really the case with us. So, other than just, I guess they say when you get married, things get real. But I guess we're ready to see. We're ready for the roller coaster. We're ready for the ride, I would say.
Okay.
I think we more just focused. Like when we come back, it's just a different level. Now it's a level up from what we're doing, and I think talking about that, getting more into that, we're both excited about it, and plans, just getting the goals done.
So y'all ready to file them joint taxes? What you saying? You're like, we need them joint taxes, you hear me? Can't be out here without these joint taxes. We need them rebates, you hear me?
Now with the joint taxes, is that a positive though, or is that a negative?
Yeah, your capacity increases to a degree. Your tax bracket, well, once you hit a certain tax bracket anyway, it's going to be what it is, but definitely you have a larger capacity for what you can bring into the household. You know what I mean? It's two of y'all now. And children too. Oh yeah, y'all. Take advantage of some of those benefits. Welcome to the club.
The greatest benefit of them all is, what does Napoleon Hill say about...
I gotta bring this. Okay, so Napoleon Hill says in Think and Grow Rich that the greatest husband mastermind alliance is between a husband and wife, and that a husband-wife mastermind alliance can achieve more together in 1 year than they could achieve apart in 7 years.
Fact.
So that means if y'all, this whole law of attraction, link your minds together. If y'all in tune, in a line, in 1 year, y'all can complete what it'll take you 7 years. So the average millionaire, it takes you about 3 years to become a millionaire if you stay focused on business. So that means, with y'all might be halfway there at this point. You know what I'm saying? I hear y'all out doing some little entrepreneur things. We'll get into that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got some 7-figure goals, y'all?
Yeah, 100%. We definitely have to say our friend girl. So me personally, I do real estate. So I own a duplex at the moment right now. But the goal is to acquire more within. I don't know. I mean, I remember meeting Kenyatta and letting her know though. Like, this was one night I was telling her 35. I would be hitting around my first million before or during that time. So.
And you're 28 right now, right?
28. So I have 7 years. Yeah, 7 years.
So getting married, just cut that in half, just off GP.
Yeah, based on what you just told me, that cuts it in half.
You know what though? Like I haven't read Think and Grow Rich. I've read.
About to have a heart attack,
But
y'all.
I've read all the other ones though. I've read The Secret. I've read.
The Science of Getting Rich,
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Richest Man in Babylon.
Richest Man. I've read all of them. I never read Think and Grow Rich, but I've read everything else.
Think and Grow Rich. That's by Kiyosaki.
No, Napoleon Hill. Think and
Napoleon
Grow Rich
Hill.
is the
Okay, I have
quintessential
seen it.
business book for
Haven't read it
all, in my opinion.
But I've heard it, right? Because you listen to the audiobook like all the time.
Yes,
so I've
it's
heard
true.
like extended time. I've heard it for like 30, 40 minutes at a time. But anyway, that idea that having a mastermind, a husband and wife mastermind, like I can bear witness to that. Just having another person in entrepreneurship and in business that you can trust, like it's really, really difficult to find people that you trust, let alone a person that you trust in business. And so having that person be your spouse, it just makes life so much easier. It just puts your mind at such ease because, you know, like I don't have to worry about my husband stealing from me. I don't have to worry about, you know, my husband making a mistake and not telling me and then us trying to figure out how we're going to solve this together. You know, we look up and he like, see, I didn't tell you that I filed our taxes separate. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
I ain't
just,
following the taxes,
that
period.
whole mastermind and just like pillow talk becomes just how can we grow in business together? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like literally, we've had some of the best ideas just laying around chilling. Like the idea of having our students start their own business, the idea of having our students write their own books, and like almost everything that we do in school comes from pillow talk. Like, man, it'd be really dope if all of our students learn how to become, you know, published authors. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Man, it'd be really cool if like we had a bunch of 5-year-olds that could do Python. Oh yeah, let's implement Python in the school so all our children can start like that whole mastermind and being married to your business partner. I love it. It's absolutely incredible. And at this point, I don't even know if I would want another business partner. Like I don't not because of you, but because of my spouse. You bum. Like I went into business with a friend of mine a few years ago, and we were up and running for like 3 months, I think, and then it just
died.
It just died. It just stopped. It just didn't work. It just didn't work. Like me and that person are still the best of friends, but the business aspect didn't work out. So
I think for me, one thing that's gonna be dope for y'all is when you are in business with, you know, your spouse, they gotta tolerate you, right? They have to tolerate you. And for me, a lot of people, they claim that they want to like come around, they want to hang around, they want mentorship and stuff like that, but most people's work ethic just not there. So having your spouse, you know, your work ethic, if your work ethic is poor, your woman gonna make sure your work ethic is good. You know what I'm saying? You can't come home if the bills ain't getting paid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So she's gonna make sure you got a certain level of work ethic. And a lot of people that have come like, oh, can you mentor me? Can you whatever? I'm like, yo, I don't think you have the work ethic to just hang around me. I do it for free. But all you gotta do is have a work ethic that matches mine, and then you start finding out that people don't have it. So I'm excited for y'all, man. Y'all gonna be lit. I'm about to live through y'all, man. Like, yo, Deontay, what you got going on? For real? Okay, that's dope. So I hear you got some business too, though. What's to that? Talk about
I do. I make my own wine, so I have that's small business.
are you gonna have some at the wedding?
No, we're not gonna pack nothing.
He had to bring it out there.
Yeah.
That's gonna be hard. That's gonna be hard. 4-ounce bottles in the in the luggage.
I didn't know you made it though. Like you make the wine. I didn't know that.
That's kind of
Make
dope.
it, ferment it, bottle it, label it, all that my own.
What's it called?
Monomore 324.
Okay, where did that name come from?
So how that name came up is Deontay actually calls me my love. Like my love is in his old phone, right? Because I think her mom has it now, so she makes fun of that. But so mon amour means my love in French, and then 324 is our official day that we started dating, right? So it's kind of
dope.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
So what flavors? Tell me more about this wine. So I don't drink alcohol, but I definitely want to taste this.
So there's 5 flavors, and 2 in the making. I do infused as well, so that's a different one that's up and coming. But the 5 flavors are a sweet red sangria, a dragon fruit Syrah, a green apple Riesling, blackberry Pinot Noir, and what's the other one? I'm missing one. Oh, and a Moscato.
Okay. What's the best flavor of them all?
The very first one I made was the sweet red sangria, so that one's still my favorite.
Right. What were you gonna say, Deontay?
So she's not going. I want to go into the names though. So it's actually the actual wine is a love story within itself.
Yeah.
So it literally based off our love, and through the names, it tells a story.
Yeah. So I'm corny. I'm a sucker for love. So that's how we came up with these names, hence the mon amour. So started from there. The love at first sight, the very first one we made, is the sweet red sangria. So that one is called Love at First Sight. And then the green apple Riesling, that one is called Apple of My Eye.
This is cute.
The dragon fruit, that one is called Love Intertwined. We had 3 Wishes, which is the Moscato. And then the newest one, the black cherry Pinot, is dedicated to the day he proposed. Okay. So that one is 724, which is a special edition because he proposed on 724.
That's dope.
I didn't realize. So, are you guys doing this together, or is it just your thing? Like,
yeah. So, it's really just it's really my baby.
Right. Yeah.
I use him because I lean on him a lot. But sometimes he has his limit because he'll be like, okay, you got to do it. I'm like, dang. All right. He had spent one night up with me 3-4 o'clock in the morning putting on labels, and he was like, yep, not doing that.
Not for me.
So other than that, he supports me and helps me with tasting, before I bottle, and does all that for me. So it's kind of just a my thing, but if I need him, he's right there.
Absolutely.
What's the process like? Because I'm kind of curious, because I've never, all the stuff we've done is the school, beauty supply, products. What's the process like? How do you, for the person that's watching this, how did you come into this idea? Because this is kind of dope to me.
Extremely dope.
So,
and I'm my entrepreneur mind is thinking of what you could do with this.
So it all started from we went to a wine tasting. It was a wine tasting class. One of our dates, we went, and I like wine, but I'm more of a sweet wine. And so again, we were just pillow talking after the class, and I'm like, man, I really like a lot of the information that the guy was teaching us in his class. I'm like, man, I can do this. I can really do this. So it started off just an idea, and then just going back to the class, getting information from. He's up in Chicago, getting information from him, and I'm just putting all this together, observing, and ended up just getting more into it, and I guess started from there.
How long have you been doing this?
It's a pre-COVID, so maybe.
Yeah.
Did you know they did a wine testing at our beauty supply? Did you know that?
Yeah, not really. I didn't know that. I knew, but I didn't know.
It was actually that was our first wine tasting.
Yeah,
Was it? That was the first one?
Was it
successful? Yeah,
That's
it was
that was
really,
definitely pre-COVID.
really successful that night. So that was good.
But even with the wine though, I was gonna say 2 things. Even with the wine, so we end up when we made wine the first time, we ended up getting 30 bottles of wine. Can't drink 30 bottles of wine, so we started giving away, and then people were like, "Yo, this is good. Y'all selling this?" So we was like, "Yeah. This is good."
That was to get you on the hook. You can come back more involved.
So then she just decided to go full fledged and start creating multiple bottles. But even the way that y'all business are and how it's kind of together, even though we have 2 separate businesses, I focus more on real estate, she focus more on wine. I guess we both extremely helpful in this sense, because there's been times where I had to clean out my apartment and tile carpet, and she was right there tearing it out with me and, you know, doing everything that needed to be helped. And she's not getting paid, so
Right.
so that's just love. Like the fact that she's trying to help me
Yeah.
out, like, and it's a lot. It's stressful to do all that, and it's stressful for her to be up to 4 a.m. putting the labels on. So yeah.
That remind me of a time we had Savers Day, and we had to drive to Detroit. So that's already 6-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
Got to her mom's house at like midnight. The next day we got a sale, but the product's not together. So we're up doing labels, we up making stuff, we up adding stuff. Like by the time we get to bed, we like, all right, I don't know what time we went to bed, but we know we got to be up like on deck the next day for like the early class before we start vending. So you're like, all right, we're going on a few hours of sleep. And it's one of those things, like the beauty of having your spouse there with you is now, like they understand what you're going through. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not, you don't have to come, it's not like you take that drive home. Like I've been fired from a lot of jobs, right? So being fired, I always had to take that long drive home. Like, dang, I'm gonna take the long way. Like I can't even go take the short way. Like I already know what this conversation gonna be, you know, and she don't know because she's not there. It's like I'm on the job solo. So man, you take that long drive home, you pull into the driveway. Oh, they playing my song. I'm gonna let the last 3 songs play before you get out the car. You gotta figure out how you're gonna have a conversation. But when you're together, you already know what it is. Like, yo, I got tenants. You had a situation where your tenants didn't want to leave, right?
Yeah, I had tenants. I had 2 tenants. When I bought the property, I ended up having 2 tenants. One stayed for, I would say, so the second I bought my property, COVID took place. The law goes out where you can't kick anyone out.
Right.
So, and this is a love story within itself because I was moving out my apartment. And I was thinking, I'm just going to move in with Kenyatta for a few months. No, that did not stay for 2 months. Because the goal was me to live on my property. That few months turned into 2 years. And I just couldn't kick my tenant out. And it took me, I think that I just kicked my tenant out a little while ago. But that was after 2.5 years of never receiving rent. So.
Yeah, that's tough. You definitely got to have somebody that's down for you for that story. Like, yo, I got property, for real. Trust me. Trust me, I got it. I really do own it. Here's the deed. Like, look.
And I ended up losing my job during COVID, so I was really down bad. I had to like, yo, I'm gonna stay for a few months. I'm moving to my property. The law goes out. Can't get nobody out.
That's tough.
What? So yeah, it turned out to be a very bad situation.
That's tough. Right. Wow.
So, where can people buy some of this wine? Media More, what's it called?
Mine More.
Mine More. Where can
324
they buy Mine More?
wine collections. So I have social media up, Facebook, Mine More 324 Winery, and Instagram, and also a website, Monomore 324 Winery.com.
Have you thought about? So I'm assuming you still make it on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about outsourcing manufacturing?
We talk about it all the time. I just haven't gotten there yet. So with me, it's more so baby steps because again, it is my baby, but it's also a small business. I do have a career, so it's something that I do want to do eventually and get to that point. But again, when you say trusting people and different things like that, like I start
you ain't
small.
got there. You ain't trust such and such company to manufacture your product for you.
Yeah, so I want to start small and learn about the smartest way to outsource or who to outsource, especially in the wine business. And if Illinois is the best place for it. Because eventually I do want to be on a vineyard. I want to just do wine on it.
But you outsource a little bit.
But yeah, I did start with my labels. So I outsourced my label company instead of making them by myself now. I utilize the same company as Coca-Cola. So they've been great so far.
That's dope.
They just actually, like the last order that I made for my labels, the
nice.
sponsored it. So it's just kind of like, maybe some of the people in the company try my wine. I got a box that said, love your wine, and an email. And I'm like, oh, that's dope. So they really,
lit.
they rocking with me. And I was like, well, hey, I haven't gotten an invoice for this yet. Don't worry about it. So I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I was double backing them angel investors.
Right.
I like the wings, y'all. Y'all angel investors. So let me ask you this then. Where do you see your business in the next 5 years? Because
both of them, real estate and wine.
Well, he said 5 years from now, he's trying to hit that 7-figure piece. You feel me?
Actually, I mean, for me personally, in 5 years, I mean, if I could, since we're getting married now, if I get a property a year at least, that's 7 properties eight properties. So yeah, I mean 7, 8 properties. I could deal with that and just keep growing. But since there's 2 of us now, we could get 2 properties a year. It's 14. $1 million not hard. $1 million not hard to hit at all. So I mean, it's very feasible. So I think 7 to 14 properties is very realistic.
Do you have any other entrepreneur aspirations outside of real estate, Deontay?
Yes, I mean, I do. I want to do something along the lines of like barbering, within a sense. Even I guess the job I have now, I do it because it makes me the most money. But if I can, have all those properties and have 100% residual income coming in, I'll go into the barbering aspect and end up getting my license, owning a shop, and I would love to sit down and talk to people at the barbershop all day.
Right.
I'm okay with that, and then having that being paid for itself because of the barbers I have in there. Like, I'm perfectly fine with that.
That's what's up. I got 2 clients that's barbers right now, so let's talk about that. 5 years. Where do you see that? 5 years.
5 years from now, I think I would want to. I will be. Oh, it's really hard to tell. I think I do want to definitely have my own team, build my own team for my wine, which means like training them specifically, like having them hold me down, like hold the business down, people that I can actually trust to go in this with. So I do want to work on building that team that can stick with me through that, and just taking Monomore to a different level as far as Black-owned wine company.
Let's go.
Are there any other? Are there any other Black-owned wine companies out there?
There are. There's lots of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's a thing like around in this area where we're at. That's the only one I know of. I don't know anybody else that's in that.
And the concept is, I mean, even though it's Black-owned wine company, I guess the concept that Kenyatta has,
it's actually like making your own wine, like
right. That's
doing the work, doing all that work. I want to stick to that. Like, I don't want to have people do that. Like, I still want to be very hands-on within my business. So that's the part that I have to carefully plan out.
That's kind of dope.
I asked you about manufacturing because there was a liquor company that just opened up here in our area, and they're always looking for new
vendors.
I guess vendors, but maybe inventory is the right word.
Clients.
But, it's over there off of East State Street. God, what is it called? It's like the size of a grocery store, but all they sell is alcohol, and they like always looking for like local vendors and stuff like that. I'm gonna get the name of it to you though. God, what is the name of it? I can't think of it. Is it?
Benny's the wine place over there?
No, Benny's is a liquor store.
It might be Benny's.
Benny's is a national chain,
but that's a chain.
Yeah, Benny's is a national chain.
It's a chain.
Whatever it is, I went in there. I had to buy a gift for somebody.
There she go.
And I had a conversation with like a manager or whatever the case may be, and they bring in new wine, they bring in new liquor, like they bring in new things. Like that's like a thing that they do. So when you talked about making wine, I was thinking about that conversation that I had with that manager. Like, the entrepreneur, I'm always asking about just different things. So happen to have a conversation with somebody about where y'all get all this, like it's a ton of alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, who knew that this much alcohol existed? All these different brands. Like, where y'all get this from? Like one thing led to another.
Oh God, here we
and we're
go.
gonna talk about where they get all the alcohol from, and we'll try local things. Come here and talk to us, blah blah blah.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's like you got to talk to the right people. If it's something that you would be interested in, shoot your shot. I would say. Like, that would be so dope.
As an entrepreneur, the answer is always yes until it becomes no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So let me ask y'all this question then. This is really intriguing for me. All right. So give us a little bit of like your backgrounds, like growing up as children, and then I'm asking you that because my next question I want to know like how important is like financial freedom to you, and what do you however you define financial freedom. For me, financial freedom is like well, I'll get to for me because it's gonna be extravagant, but like tell us about like growing up, like kind of what inspired you to become the person you are today, and then like how does that lead you to like financial freedom, and how important is it to you?
I would say that for me personally, I didn't grow up poor or anything. I grew up middle class, but I grew up with a lot of discipline. But I did also grow up with, not I would say middle class, poor middle class in a sense, because yeah, there was definitely times where lights would be off. There was definitely times where
Kevin Hart.
there's definitely times where you heat up water in the pot, pour it in the tub. That situations like that. And then when I got to college, I noticed a lot of the time, like sometimes my phone would have been off and things of that nature. But what changed me is I remember going to college and I was talking to everybody on my floor, and it was like comparing houses or something. People was talking about their houses, and people were like looking up how much their houses cost. And one dude lived in Boston, house was like $1 million. Never even heard of this. I was like, $1 million house, and I know you, and you live right here. I mean, so I was like, oh, okay, this is different. And then I looked up mine. It's like $60,000, $80,000. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a different level. Okay, so, but at that point, I guess the discipline is the biggest thing for me. I didn't want to be like not having something and like things like lights going on for something of that nature. That's not where I want to be. So I mean, and also not working. Like I see what it feels like to work, and it's not sweet to have to work for somebody all the time and go off of their game plan and their time and do deadlines. And I'd rather have my own money to do it how I want to do it. And I noticed that when I was cutting hair in college, I made as a barber. I mean, it was my schedule. I made it when I want to, and people and it off my time 100%, money straight in my pocket. So I like that feeling, so I wanted to capitalize on it. And I think real estate was probably like, I don't know who told me about real estate, or I can't remember, but reading Rich Dad Poor Dad is what that's the book that blew my mind. I was like, oh, okay, this is really feasible, and I knew people who do it and make a lot of money that you wouldn't even know. I'm like, oh, okay, this the move. This is what I need to do.
Yeah.
So how important is like financial freedom to you? Like what's your idea of financial freedom? And how important is financial freedom to you?
Financial freedom is extremely important to me. But I guess what I think of when I hear financial freedom is being able to, be able to not only take care of yourself and your family, but residual income where you don't have to worry about a job paying you. That's the biggest thing for me. I don't want to have to worry about a job paying me, and the money could come from my own endeavors.
So now, your turn. Tell us about, your childhood growing up, kind of like what drove you to become the person you are, and then also like what does financial freedom mean to you?
Me growing up, I was raised by my grandmother, so just one lady in the house, me and my brother. Mid class, like we weren't poor. I don't think I've ever witnessed her with the lights off or anything, or maybe with little mom at some point at a different time. But it's always been a struggle. We've always had a struggle, but my grandma, she never showed it. Like, she has always managed her money very, very well. And I never understood, because I'm like, she don't work. My granddad died. Like, how is she doing this? I would write her checks out for her and put them in the mail. Very, old fashioned. She still does that to this day. But I'm just like, man, how is she doing this? Like, how is she, we have food in the refrigerator. And so she just always has done it off of a little money in an account. And I'm just like, man. And so when I got older, I started working very early on. I've never been shy of work, but it's just always been a struggle. I've always had that struggle, which I can imagine my grandmother too, but never wanting it to be shown. Like, just it has to be done. It has to get done. So I'm that person. I've never been shy of work, but working so young and then going to college, having a child early on, it was just nonstop for me. So it's just like, man, it has to be a better way. It has to be a better way. And that's really what done it for me. It's just working, but tired of working. I want to be able to have something to show for all the work I've done. And so when you get to that point, when you sit down and really ask yourself, you done did all this work, now what? You're still working.
Right.
It was a mental thing for me. So then after that, it was just discovering the wine business that's my key. That's what I want to do, even though like I've always had my career, but it's just being your own person, your own business, something I never imagined doing. Really took it for me. I don't want to work for nobody else. So, and that's what my financial freedom comes from. Like when I'm able to do that, that's very important to me, because when I'm able to work for myself, be my own boss, somebody else's boss, and delegate the task, but then also financial freedom when I can send my kids off to college and not worry about it.
Right.
So those little small things, I think I don't take for granted.
Can I answer the question?
Go ahead. I'm curious to hear your answer too.
Well, I don't want to go do some my childhood.
No, not your childhood, but I want to know.
The financial freedom for me is having a job. Everybody can do that, but the financial freedom for me is having something that I can pass down to my children. So I can't pass down a job, right? No matter how many thousands I make on my job, I can't pass that on to my child or our children at this point. And so that's what financial freedom is for me, is having some sort of endeavor, real estate, a wine business, a school, a consulting business, books, like something that tangible that I can pass on to my children and their children and their children, right? So when I'm gone, the job goes with me. But if I have properties and businesses, then now my children can take over those businesses, and now they can continue to. If somebody got to pay the rent on my property, why shouldn't that rent go to my children? And then 100 years from there, somebody got to pay the rent on that property. Why shouldn't it go to my grandchildren?
Yeah.
So financial freedom for me literally just comes down to having something that I can pass on to my children.
That's dope. I was going to literally say financial freedom for me is being able to make enough money that my great grandchildren, who I'll never get a chance to meet, can come home and look at our picture over the mantelpiece and be like, yo, I live the life I live today because great grandfather put in his work,
Papa Henry,
and built a legacy. You feel me? Like you gotta do it. But here's the thing, though. All right, here's the thing. We almost at the end, but here's the thing, though. Also, I'm gonna butcher this quote, but y'all can go get the actual quote from like online. Everybody says it is dope. Y'all might have heard this before. They say that this dude was saying, he said, my grandfather walked to work. He said, my father drove the bus to work. I drive a Benz. He said, my child's gonna drive a Lambo. And then his child may drive some cars, like, but their great-grandchild is going to walk to work. And he's like, well, what happens is hard times make strong men. Strong men make times easier. Easy times make weak people. Weak people make things difficult for everybody. And the cycle just repeats, right? And so part of the problem is the black community, we're always talking about build generational wealth. But part of the problem is it's not just the money. And a lot of people get confused, like, oh, well, if I make $10 million and I just pass it down.
True.
Well, if you pass down the money, but you don't pass down how to handle the money,
the mindset.
If you don't have the mindset getting passed down, then that money's going to be gone, right? The Rockefellers, the DuPonts, Carnegies, Rothschilds, these rich white elite families that you hear about, they don't just pass down the money. They pass down the systems, the education, they pass down the mindset so that their family stays and keeps the money and the power and control. So for me, that's important. That's a huge part of like building a legacy. It's not just, yo, if I can go out and make $10 million, well, if you don't know how I made it, you're going to lose that money. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm dead, you blowing my money. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, once I go make it, I want the family to have it and can continue to pass it down. So for me, it's like, yo, I got to go hard now because 200 years from now, I won't be here to still put that grind in. But if I put that grind in now, then if the family legacy needs to be like, yo, we're all high performers, we're all building legacies, like, and then those children take it further and further and further and take it to the next edition, man. Because, lottery winners, They blow that bread, man.
They're known to do that.
Which is why one of the greatest things in life right now that gives me joy is seeing our daughter, like, just the mindset that she has, her work ethic, like, she just, she's a different child. Like, she's very intelligent, but just, she's a different child when it comes to entrepreneurship and work ethic and being in business. And, like, I just see her that mindset that we want to pass on to our children. Like I'm seeing it, and it gives me such great joy knowing that. Like we don't have a lot of money to pass on to her at this moment, but what we've instilled in her character.
Insurance money, she decent. You feel?
We are worth a lot of money to her dad, but nonetheless.
She better get that infinite banking. She take out that loan. We gravy.
But nonetheless, like the character, like seeing the character, the young woman that she's becoming, it's like a lot of. I take a pride in that.
You know what's dope about our daughter is, shout out to Client Attraction University and Marquell Russell. When we was in Atlanta, not the last boot camp, but the one prior, we took our students down.
Okay.
This is my shameless plug of my child, right? So we're in a room full of maybe 200 coaches plus at a hotel downtown Atlanta, and they was like, "Yo, who has questions to do such and such?" So somebody raises her hand, and she asked the questions. First of all, the level of questions she was asking. Everybody in the back was like, "Yo!" So Marquell shouts out our school, like, "Oh no, that's Speaking for His Academy, whatever. That's my man Henry. That's his daughter Samaya." And he starts talking about his experience with her. So on the way back to the airport, when he's taking them back to O'Hare to get to Atlanta, she's asking him questions. He's like, "I've never had a 12-year-old ask me those types of questions." He's like, adults don't ask me those types of questions. So she was asking questions. She's like, "Listen, if I take your coaching program, I understand investing in $15,000, but when I make my next $15,000, can I invest that in real estate? Because I want to do this and that." And like, she's like moving to the point where when we had like the intercession, instead of the room like shifting forward where Marquell's at, they shifted back to her. So like all these adults are coming back and they're asking her questions and stuff. And I'm like, dang, like as a father, you like, it was to the point where Andre, who's the other founder of Client Attraction University, he told my daughter, like, "Yo, here's my personal email. Like, yo, whatever you need, hit me up. Let me know, like, you're the future. Like, you're the truth." And being able to see that, it's like, yo, you know, putting that into your young people and having them do that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it makes me feel like, yo, if I die today, at least I know she'll be good with what I've given today. Like, there's more to give, but I'm comfortable with what I've given today. And I know the best is yet to come. So that financial freedom piece is real, man. You know, I'm excited to see what y'all do, man, because y'all, you know, y'all got youth on your side. Not that we don't, but just seeing younger people do
real youth. Like they're not like
y'all didn't get to the age yet. Like the other day I woke up and I was like, I jumped out of bed and I was like, "Oh my God!" I grabbed my side and I was like, "I think I got appendicitis." So true story.
Pain in your side
because I never had a pain right here before. It's never happened. It was so painful. I left school in the middle of the day, like beginning of the day. I was like, I gotta go to the doctor. So I was like, because I think my appendix is about to bust or something. So I'm like, all right. So I get to the doctor. And he's like, "Well, first of all, you don't have pancreatitis or appendicitis. They're on the other side of your body." And I was like, "Oh." So I'm like, "Yo, what is going on in my body? Like, I feel muscles." I'm like, "Yo, this is a kidney stone. Is it like what's happening to me?" And like, he's like, "Probably pulled a muscle or something." I was like, "In my sleep?" Like, you know what I'm saying? When you're young, you just go to sleep and wake up. You don't just wake up feeling muscles in your body move around. Like, yo, what is this? I didn't know I had a muscle right here. So enjoy y'all youth, man. Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? But you got money. When I was y'all age, I didn't, like, having money at y'all age is just a different animal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just.
I wish I had your mindset when I was your age, though. Like,
yeah.
I just wish I would have started younger. Like, that's what makes me upset. Like, there's people doing it, like, younger.
True.
Like,
True.
And that's what I was going to say, like, to just touch on it, the way I told Keyshawn that, like, the way that y'all have raised your two daughters, Duffy, Samaya, it's just been like, I look at it as like something that I want to follow. Like, I definitely look up to the way y'all did that. I remember when we were young, Samaya was like spitting knowledge. Like, I'm like, yo, she is extremely smart at like 6. Like, it's super smart. So yeah,
it's crazy.
On that.
When I was a child, like, she's such the opposite of what I was. Like, it's could because she's a girl. She could have stuff from her mama, but I'm like, yo, I grew up in the crack era 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an 80s baby, grew up in the 90s, but like, we had crack cocaine, we had like, and like my daughter, when I was younger, I made a vow, like, you know what? She can't grow up on like Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, like, so I put together a playlist of like white music. I don't mean to like disrespect the audience, but I'm just saying like music that like our culture, we really don't listen to, Taylor Swift or something. And it's crazy because now my daughter don't really like hip hop. Like, we remember we asked her in the car the other day, like, who are these people? We showed her a picture. It was like Snoop and Pac from America's Most Wanted, and she was like, I think that guy is from an anime. I'm like, oh my God, did she just call Tupac an anime?
Yeah, she did.
And I'm like, yo, these children have no clue. Like, she she's so like she's just a different type of child. So I mean, you know, man, and all it is just investing time. We had an episode we did already on how to raise a child prodigy. It's like just invest the time. Like most parents don't invest time into their child. We put 30 minutes a day. That's 30 minutes a day, and it's at this point it's paying off because if we don't stop her, she'll graduate high school within a year and a half. You know what I mean? Like she's cold. Like, but when I was her age, man,
I noticed that with. I'm glad you said that because I noticed that with tutoring. I do tutoring as well, but like when I tell them the price, it's kind of like but I'm like, yo, you spend hundreds of dollars on a pair of basketball shoes, but you realize your child might not graduate, so you might want to.
Right.
What I'm charging is nothing to what you spending on you know on the other parts of their life. So yeah, definitely the time. I can see how that could be extremely important.
Man, we'll close out on this point. Glad you said that, Deontay. Jay-Z had a line that I think is dope. Jay-Z said that he said the price of everything, but the value of nothing. And one of the things about entrepreneurship that most people don't understand, people say they want to get rich, they want to do all these different things. Oh, Red, think you grow rich. But did you grow rich? No, because you didn't think. It's a two-step process, right? And it's because people understand the price of everything, but they don't understand the value. Like, you know, a wedding in Jamaica, it's gonna be so expensive. Yeah, that's the price, but what's the value? You know what I'm saying? Like, if let's say it costs you 10 bands, but that memory that lasts and the experience that you get and just that time period of what you're capturing, the value is going to last. You know what I'm saying? The value is 10 times higher than the price. And for most entrepreneurs, they don't like aspiring and new entrepreneurs, we don't understand price and value. Like my coach, we paid $15,000 for coaches out the gate. Like, yo, I need you to teach me how to make $100K. Like that's But if you're gonna make me $100K, what's $15,000? I gotta pay 15% on $100K. So, you know, anyway, I'm in my entrepreneur bag. I'm glad to have y'all on, man. We got to bring y'all back, especially after the wedding. We got to do like a follow-up after the wedding, after the honeymoon. So y'all say right now, it's pretty much the same. We got to do like an update and see like, how's it going? Like if y'all come and one sitting here and one sitting on that side of the couch, I'm like, ooh, okay. You know, but man, we wish y'all blessings, love, much success. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for stopping by the GPS podcast. Close us out. Oh, I thought you were going to give me some words, but okay, don't worry about it. All right. GPS podcast.